partner. Come on, you got to relax. Don't force it. Get a blow out your O-ring. Drop a lung.
Who does number 2 work for? Who does number 2 work for?
That's right, buddy. You show that turd who's boss. Hey, just grab a hold of something, bite your lip, and give it hell. Come on. We're going to get through this. Hey, that sounds pretty nasty. How about a courtesy flush over there? Jesus Christ, boy. What did you eat?
Welcome, everyone. Yeah. Had a little delay there. Little delay of game. Just a bit. What is up, guys? It's your favorite Clout Goblins, and we're here for our it's not quite the last September episode, is it?
No, there should be one more.
We'll get one more. Uno mas.
Wake me up when September ends.
Oh my god. Yes, these nailed it again. Yes. That is 100% correct. I went to the grocery store. I was like, I better get me some more coffee. And then I came back. I was like, oh boy. So anyway, what's up, guys? Flagrant Cam, Flagrant Triggers. Got my man Crash. Crash, what's been going on?
Not much. Weather's beautiful. Fall is here.
That is true, because I have my annual sinuses that are absolutely kicking my throat's ass. Which I don't complain about the deeper voice whenever it happens, but still annoying. I guess the running's been getting a little easier, huh?
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely getting better. Like, I had to walk a lot during the summer just because it was so hot. So it's more run walk, but now I'm getting through my hour-long run with a lot more ease.
I scoff at you because I find it unbelievable that you can do that, since I've never been able to do it, but I need to. I actually need to start doing it.
Just start with 5 and 5. 5 minutes run, 5 minutes walk. Go for 30 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't realize, like, for cardio and stuff like that, it's not about just running as long as you can. It's about keeping your heart rate in that zone.
Right.
I think it's like between 130 and 160.
It depends. It's different per person. I mean, if you want to get precise, like the way I do it, I did a threshold run, so that's a 30-minute. It's like an almost all-out run. It's basically you're going as fast as you think you can go for it and hold it for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take your average heart rate for the last 20 minutes, because your 10 minutes leading up to it are your heart is still warming up, even if you did a warm up beforehand. And that should give you a pretty good indicator of what's called your threshold heart rate, which mine is at about 180.
Yeah.
And then if you go 80 to 85% of that is what you call zone 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, generally, I mean, most people, if you don't want to go to the heart rates, if you just use perceived effort, you should be able to have a pretty normal conversation while running.
Yeah, not to where you can't actually converse a whole sentence, but where you can.
Right. It should be uncomfortable, but there's me having this kind of conversation with in between breaths, and then there's when you can't barely breathe and can't get a word out. Yeah. It's a big difference.
Go walk, everyone. Guys, checked out Rubes on stream last night, and I can't believe how much weight he's lost. He's doing really good. Really
Yeah.
proud of him. I think he said he's down 200 pounds now, which is freaking crazy. Oh man, how's everybody in the chat doing? Everybody doing all right? Hanging out? It's gonna be I guess it's gonna be a pretty chill stream today.
Yeah.
Aside from the Russell Brand stuff, wasn't too much craziness going on. I did just see a little article that I want to take a look at though, so we'll pull that up later. But the big news is that in case you didn't know, we're back, baby. We are back. The campaign has started, and we've done the relaunch campaign, so we've got everything up on the site. Actually, let me go ahead and put that in the chat. This is going to be like it's not necessarily a crowdfund campaign. It's kind of like a supporter pack, I guess, because we've got the machine and we've got everything getting ready to go.
By got the machine, we mean we own the machine. It is not in Cam's hands yet. It's got to go from Tampa to me, and then I'm going to bring it up to North Carolina. Or I have some family members that with the pickup they're going to help with that.
And look forward to a fun little Crash and Flagrant in-person stream in a few weeks.
Yes,
Which
I'll be
should be
making my
pretty
own
fun.
trip up there once the machine's up there.
Yeah, I'm trying to plan some decently fun stuff that won't cost an arm and a leg. So there may be some guns and other things if everything works out.
All right.
But yeah, everything's up on the site. The big thing about these is just about everything comes with a little bonus. Like your $5 will get you your supporter badge on the Discord, and we've got Arcosul who's in there working on some of that stuff and getting updates and neat little things out. And then $10 will get you a sticker. 15 will get you the sticker and this is kind of a test thing. We're going to be printing on little 3x3 metal plates, and it's kind of like a beta experiment to see how well it does. And they're 3mm thick and 3x3 inches square. And
The Discord in the chat if you haven't joined yet.
Yeah, and I guess it's I think this will be really interesting to start, because then we can start getting into like display designs and display art, kind of like Displate, but definitely going to try and keep it cheaper than what they are going at, because Displate is crazy expensive. So if we can get successful with that, I think that'll be fun. And then of course you get your coffee mug at the $30. You get the coffee mug, still plate print, the sticker, and your badge. And then we start getting into the shirts. So there is one standalone item, and that's just the logo shirt. And that's got the new logo on it that I worked up, which I think looks pretty damn awesome. It's I'm pretty happy with it. And then we got our starter man, and all the shirts. So starting at the starter bundle, you get this shirt, the mug, the plate, the sticker, the badge. The next shirt, the believer shirt, you get this shirt, you get the starter shirt, and you get all three of these items. And once you start the starter pack, you get a 5% discount, and then it slowly increments up from there. And these are lifetime discounts for everything in the store. So this isn't just here's a short-term coupon. Like, this is going to be a forever discount for people, because I think anyone who helps us get relaunched and helps us establish what little bit we can on our own, they absolutely deserve to get a little something back for it, because I know it means a lot to me. It means a lot to Crash, and I mean, if it wasn't for you guys anyway, it would have never came to the fruition that it has. So, but yeah, swing by there, see what you like. If you got any suggestions, let us know. We do also have the 3X and 4X size. So if you want that, you can get that. We added navy, so there's 5 colors now instead of just 4. So extra small to 4XL, and unless they happen to be really short stock on the larger sizes, everything should still be tri-blend, the tri-blend that we normally use. So
That's
that'd
the
be
comfy shirts.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question from Rob.
Okay, so it depends on how you want your image oriented. 12 inches wide is like if you're doing a square piece, then 12 by 12. You can tell on the Believer shirt though that it is longer than it is wide, but the width doesn't matter. We could run a design that's longer than the shirt. We just couldn't
because
do
it's like a roll printer, so you can just
Mhm.
extend that dimension as far as we need to, but we are limited on how wide the machine actually is. So
Yeah, but 12 inches is gonna that's a lot of retail on width. So
yeah,
now one thing we can also do as well is instead of doing landscape or portrait, we can do landscape to where
12 high by if it's a longer image. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so the only real constraints are the dimensions that you actually have the image at, and whether you want it longer up and down or wider across. So it's I mean the other shirts, I think the max was 11.5 inches, so we're actually gaining half an inch for these. It either way though, I mean it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be good and fun. And these shirts are, I mean, they're gonna last. I was talking to my cousin about a screen print shirt he got, and he said after 3 months it was just like all the design had been chipped, flaked off, and you could barely see it was there anymore. And like Crash has got the filing cabinet shirt. Aside from the 2 little holes, everything's the same. It still looks, aside from the holes, it looks like it was just printed from what Crash has said. So
Yeah, you have to look closely to find those. Like you're not going to see that without inspecting the actual shirt.
and
Yeah.
that could be from wear and tear from daily stuff. Like it's not or it could have gotten caught up in a machine, or something like that. But as far as reliability, this stuff is very good because I think Front Porch has some too, and his are standing up pretty well from what I checked the last time I saw him. Rachel got one, and she said it's perfectly fine still. So yeah, these are going to be good quality stuff, and we're trying to branch out. Like we're going to start with mugs, and if that goes well, we're going to look at doing like decanters, thermoses, stuff like that. And another fun thing too is going to be the little steel plate prints and stuff like that. And I mean, you can pretty much put this stuff on anything. You just have to be able to find a way to fit it and get it pressed on. So odd shapes would be difficult.
Yeah, and your medium
but
has to be able to withhold the heat too.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can. Toilet paper's not going to do it. So
Yeah, don't set your house on fire.
Well, as much as we'd like to make Joe Biden toilet paper with his
Man, if we figure that out, we'll be rich. Oh my gosh.
well, maybe we could talk people into going back into the old style where you just use a cloth and you just have to wash your Oh, underwear. There we go. We're gonna figure it out. Trust me.
Yeah.
But yeah, few weeks. Wait, say maybe a month at the worst.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a ship date yet, but they said it was pretty. It should have been ready to ship. I didn't get a hold of them on Friday. I'll call them on Monday and just kind of see where the holdup is. If it's the financier, if they haven't transferred funds for some reason, if they got held up. But
Yeah.
I mean, everything they tell me is just like it's ready. I mean, like it's almost tempting, like to just drive down there and go grab it myself, because it's only half a day's drive for me.
Yeah. I still forget just how big Florida is just because of how long it is.
Yeah.
Well, and you got the Panhandle portion, which extends what half the distance out that it is long.
Yeah, it's about 3 to 4-ish. Well, about 2.5 to 3 hours from here, and then there's like another hour west of me of Panhandle, or so.
Oh, it's not too bad. Yeah, see, that's some stuff we're going to look into. We want it to be affordable, like that's the big thing, because they obviously quality is our first priority, but then we want to make stuff affordable because we're not. Yes, money's nice, but I'd rather give something to customers that'll last a while and that they can actually afford, because I think that's what a lot of corporations have lost sight of over the years is the economic problems that the middle class is facing now. They can't, like, it's almost like a Christmas gift to get a decent item nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, that bothers me, that it makes it almost impossible for some people these days, especially with the way the economy is.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the stock market is a plague. Because I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? Because I really think the stock market has a lot to do with why corporations are the way they are now, because the stock market incentivizes them to absolutely cut costs however they can, because they have a fiduciary responsibility to increase their profits through any means necessary.
So, I mean, obviously, as free market capitalists, I fully support someone's right to sell a piece of their company.
Mhm.
But the stock market is so much more than just that. So I do agree to an extent that the way that the stock market is structured is kind of part of the problem. We've developed this culture of shareholder supremacy, as opposed to I mean, and not as opposed to, but rather at the detriment to, taking care of your workers, taking care of your customers.
Mhm.
It's just all about the short term profits. Like when you work for privately owned companies, like maybe it's one person, maybe it's a couple people, or just a small board, you tend to find that they're generally more long term thinking. Whereas stock market is all about it's just a racket in the end. A lot of companies will start simply just to get bought out. Like that's their entire spiel, is just like, let's find something quick that somebody will pay me a big check for. I can have the rights to everything. And like, I don't know, it's more of a cultural rot issue than anything. I'm not entirely sure what structure I mean, other than just getting rid of the stock market as it is and having actual ownership transfers or sales being more old school, you know what I'm saying? Which some of that still kind of happens. If it's a privately owned business and you're sharing a piece of your company, it goes through, like an acquisition. You develop a purchase contract. You have different parties involved that help you do that. But whereas like the stock market, when you're selling to the public, which I guess that's the big difference, versus a private sale versus a public sale, where it's just out for everybody.
Well, I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong about this, but I think restricting it to where if you're going to go public, then only the public and individuals can invest into your company, not other corporations and businesses. because I think that's the cascade that's caused us to get where we are now. I mean, look at BlackRock, Vanguard.
But I mean, the part of that is also just government funding. The first step is obviously get the government out of all of this business. The government facilitates
Yeah.
this to the
Shouldn't
worst
be any
levels.
subsidies or anything like that
Yeah.
ensure that places like big fucking banks become too big to fail because they have too much interest from the government.
Right. And then also the fact that the banks, I mean, the whole central banking system, they have. Yeah, I think it's so, Robbie. I think you're right. I think there's just a bit more complexity to it than simply it's just like, it's just the stock market. I think there's a lot of elements of the stock market as it is that are part of the problem, and it would take a lot of simplifying, I would say, to get it to where it's in a good spot. But yeah, you got to remember, like, the Federal Reserve System works off of a debt-based system where they just create money that they don't have, and it's owed back to them with interest. When the Fed starts lowering interest rates, what they're actually doing is buying bonds and inserting cash into the banking system, which then these banks. So there needs to be something where these banks shouldn't be allowed to invest this money themselves, because that's essentially what they're doing. They're getting these interest-free loans, buying up whole companies to change the boards and do whatever they want with them, right? Or buying up a ton of real estate. They're really just looking for anything to get a quick profit. As opposed to having that money, like when capital is inserted to the banks, the lending should go to customers, not to themselves. Like they're lending to themselves, buying up all this crap, getting money off of, and tanking our economy as a result. If that makes sense. There's a lot of pieces to that, but that's the simplest way I could put it, I think.
Well, they absolutely cut out special deals for sure, because, and it's not because the business or corporations necessarily providing a great necessity for the general public, but
That's because they have lobbyists who,
they get donation dollars, campaign support,
or and sometimes it's just the insider trading. It's just because they own a piece of that company. The congressmen own a piece of that company already anyway, or they, knowing that what's coming on the docket, they'll buy here or sell there, and then pass whatever law, and it tanks a stock that they've sold, or it raises a stock that they bought, and then they reap profits.
It's all a big circle jerk, and we're not part of it.
That's right.
Yeah, the insider. That's one thing I don't understand, why people aren't more up in arms about fucking like Pelosi, Crenshaw, McCarthy, Schumer, all of them, both sides. All of them do fucking fantastic in the stock market.
They are worth tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Their annual salary is supposed to be, for congressmen, $175K a year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry,
the Speaker of the House is $225, I think, if I remember.
If you can't survive off of $175,000 tax-free dollars a year, something is wrong.
I think they still get taxed. I don't think they're tax-free.
Really?
Yeah. Although I never thought to look that up. It would be amazing because now that I think about it, it's just like, it'd be amazing if they haven't passed something to give themselves tax-free dollars.
I thought federal were exempt from federal tax.
Oh, no. Federal employees, all federal employees are still get taxed. Social Security gets taxed. They tax everything. And it's one of the stupidest things. It's like, the federal government paid this check. Why are they taxing it back? Like, why not, you could just lower the gross, make it tax-free, and then give them the same net. But they don't like doing that because it helps their numbers.
Well, that dude, like what you just said just made me realize it's just another money laundering thing. Like, okay, we get taxes from the people to pay these employees that work for us who work for the people to do this thing for them. But we're going to take that. We're going to tax that money too.
Yep.
It's like, I need.
They tax you on your income, and that income was probably also came out of tax dollars because the corporation that you work for paid some sort of tax. And then you'll pay sales tax, and you pay property tax on something you already own. And then when you die, they'll still tax you.
Well, and when you're a federal employee working for the state who gets their funds from the populace and are funded by taxpayers, all of the money, 100% of the money you receive has already been taxed.
Yeah. It is literally tax dollars. It is literally the tax dollars that they took. And then they're taxing it again.
And then 30% of that 100% taxed income goes back to politicians. Like, it makes absolutely no sense.
So much of it is just accounting games, really.
Well, it shows the malfeasance and lack of responsibility that the politicians have.
Yeah.
They're given a huge purse and they can't help but fucking overspend because they want more money for themselves.
The love of money is at the root of all kinds of evil.
That's true. I mean, like I was saying earlier, though, if you make 175, even if it is taxed, worst case scenario, you're still getting like $120,000, $130,000 a year. And
I mean, that's one of the, well, I mean, DC is expensive, but Jesus, 175 is more than enough to live out there. I lived out there on like 75 to 80 for a long time.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. I got a phone call.
Okay. All right. Well, he's on the phone. What's going on, chat? Any thoughts on that, guys? Are we crazy? Nah, I know you guys know we're not. We don't get any detractors in here that stay long anyways. Overpaid 125K. Yeah, I've always, like, I feel that Congress people should get, their pay should be equal to the median household, or the median individual income, not household. So that they feel the same pain that everybody else feels when they have bad policy, especially monetary policies. And they just shouldn't be allowed to have, like, I think it should just, I would totally be for just adding this as an amendment that any congressperson has to, in the Senate and judges, that they have to get rid of any and all stock. They're just not allowed to trade.
Yeah, I don't think they should. I think
it should be a forced liquidation. And,
well,
and I don't have any problem with that because as far as I'm concerned, we treat public servants differently. Okay, public servants aren't allowed to like block you on Twitter for crying out loud. So I'm okay with throwing that on there too.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
I accidentally sent my mom a link to the StreamYard.
Oh no. She about to hop in?
Nah, well, actually she might be like, what the hell is this? So yeah, let me send her a link to the show.
By the way, while we're waiting, hit like, subscribe if you haven't already. All you lurkers.
Share.
Yeah.
Like
especially the relaunch page, the relaunch campaign too. Like share that everywhere.
Yeah. And like those discount, like I know not everybody's got that money, but I wanted to give as much as I could back to you guys. because again, if it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be happening. Like if there wasn't a want and a drive for it, then there wouldn't be a point in trying to get it going again.
Yeah.
So seriously appreciate all you guys. And it does mean a lot, like seriously, because one of the things that I want to show my kids is that you should work for yourself and find something you want to do and do it and dig yourself out of the regular grind of doing other people's work for very little money. And speaking of sharing, YouTube is garbage. It's flat out. As we all know, Russell Brand he's been demonetized on YouTube, which he pulled his live stream off of YouTube a few months ago when he went to Rumble exclusively, but he still posts like clips and highlights.
Yeah, and he still had, all of his legacy stuff still up, his evergreen content.
Yeah. And the accusations came out and what's highly ridiculous about this is the allegations didn't come forward because someone went and filed charges. The media apparatus sent reporters out to ask hundreds of women who had ever interacted with him just to try to dig something up. And because of the allegations, YouTube demonetized his channel. And what's super disturbing and showing that YouTube is becoming part of the what would you call it? Police state, censorship state, the tyrannical bullcrap that they are. They sent this to Rumble, and this was from a UK Parliament. Today we received an extremely disturbing letter from our committee chair in the UK Parliament. While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault, rape, and all serious crimes and believes that both alleged victims and the accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation, it is vital to note that recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with the content on Rumble's platform. Just yesterday, YouTube announced that, based solely on the media accusations, it was barring Mr. Brand from monetizing his video content. Rumble stands for very different values. We devoted ourselves to the vital cause of defending a free internet, meaning an internet where no one arbitrarily dictates which ideas can or cannot be heard, or which citizens may or may not be entitled to. And I'm gonna say this is not the letter that they sent. This is Chris Pavlovsky's response to it.
Yeah.
So basically, the UK government messaged Rumble and said, "Hey, Russell Brand's been accused of this, and you should demonetize him and remove him from your platform because he shouldn't have any free speech at all, and no one should hear what he's saying because of these allegations." And that's it's really tyrannical and shitty.
I would love to see Russell actually try to sue individual members of parliament that were involved in that letter.
Well, not only that, but he should sue YouTube because YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, YouTube sent their reason for why he was demonetized, and it did not go against any of their guidelines.
Well, I mean, I think he's got a case for sure. There's no.
I'm sure there's people talking to him. They're like, "Let's do this."
Yeah, and he's got the money to get the best legal team.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to see individuals start getting sued. Like, this is one of the issues when it comes to not just politicians, but government employees, including like police, is that oftentimes you end up having to sue a government entity, and individuals don't pay any price for the things that they do. That needs to change. If a cop screws up, he needs to be held accountable. Like, and I know sometimes that does happen where you get a DA will put a cop in jail for something really heinous, but they get off with so much just because of qualified immunity. And then like the fines or whatever are just paid out by the government. It's your tax dollars anyway. Government doesn't have any money that it doesn't print or take from you. They are broke. They are always broke.
Well, I think the trouble he's going to run into with the UK side and actually suing those members of parliament is that there are no free speech laws in the UK.
Yeah.
They do not have freedom of speech.
It wouldn't be on that. I would sue on torturous interference because that was an attempt at torturous interference with his relationship with Rumble.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think he even needed to go on the free speech route.
And it was absolutely
because I think that's now even though Rumble didn't respond, that's the attempt. I think the only thing he'd have trouble with in that case is proving damages. With YouTube, you can prove monetary damages.
Mm-hmm.
But when Rumble doesn't comply, he will have an issue with proving. I mean, he'll have to be more creative in terms of how he proves the damage that they've done.
It'd be easy to prove his contractual damage because he gets he'll have it. He has a contracted fee.
But if Rumble still paid him, then what has he lost?
Well, it could be conspiracy to commit a crime.
Yeah, I guess that could work. But, conspiracy means you tried.
Well, and it was a concerted effort. It wasn't just one person.
Right.
The
I mean, I guess you'd have to project what the damages could have been because I mean, really, I think you could argue this is okay. Rumble not being compliant and siding with him shouldn't absolve them of the fact that they tried to take this money, hurt him financially with this and interfere with his contract.
Oh yeah, like, well, it's like defamation should definitely be on the board.
Yes.
But I think proving minimum damages would be easy because of his contracted amount. The only thing I see it being hard to predict is extraneous earnings from the videos and the sponsorship. Well, that's another thing too. Like he could include not only his Rumble contract fees, but then his sponsorship contract fees as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then he could estimate like his monthly income from
Rumble needs to go after some well, I don't know how that would work, but because Rumble has lost some of their advertisers over this.
Yeah.
Which I think the best thing right now would be a market response to Burger King, HelloFresh, and I forget what the third one is. Just like they did to Bud Light, but yeah, the market needs to punish that. And that would be more effective than anything. Hey, Willie.
Burger King, ASOS, the Barbican, and HelloFresh.
I don't know what those other two are.
I don't either. Let's see. It looks like ASOS is clothing. And I'm not sure what Barbican is. Oh, Burger King, ASOS, the Barbican, and HelloFresh. So ASOS is the third company. The Barbican is where it's located. Yeah, apparently they're in Barbican, London. So
okay.
Yeah, and ASOS is an apparel brand. Hey, we got you hooked up right here.
That's right.
We don't give a shit what you put on your shirt. And what is up, Willie? Yeah, I think that's still going to be one of the big.
Well, disclaimer: no pedo shit, no pro rape, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, constitutional and libertarian. You can't promote stuff that is intentionally trying to hurt others.
Yeah.
or promoting the harm of others. But yeah, this just shows that YouTube they're becoming what cable is and used to be. There can only be certain things on their channels, and you can't speak out against them, or because I mean, look at what happened to Kevin Hart.
Mhm.
Like, apparently it was his dream to host the Oscars. He gets the gig, and then they remove him from the job because of a quote unquote homophobic joke from like 10 years ago. And Dave Chappelle pointed out the irony of it very astutely. He's like, because the joke was that if Kevin's son ever came to him and said he was gay, then he would take his Barbie house and smash it over his fucking head. And Dave's like, if you can't see the irony in the fact that he already had a Barbie house, then something's wrong.
Well, it just goes to show that this shows how they're not confident.
Okay, we'll have to get into that in a second.
Yeah, but doesn't it just show how not confident they are in their so-called identity?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it should be reciprocated by other companies to where any channels that demean or disparage heterosexuality and marriage between a man and a woman, like when the Dodgers did the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence thing,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a violation of free speech. You cannot disparage someone or restrict their freedom of speech because their religious values or societal values don't match with what yours are. And there was a story about one of those horrific nuns. I can't remember what it was, but it was funny. I'll have to look it up in a second, but something happened. They were in the news for something. I'm pretty sure it was related to being perv. Oh, I remember. I think it was they were caught masturbating for an hour in public. I believe that's what it was.
That sentence didn't make a lot of sense. Like, you get caught and it went on for an hour, got caught at the end of the hour.
Apparently, they had been doing it for an hour, and reports were made, and nothing happened.
Okay.
And then finally, they arrested him. I have to look it up. Yeah, sorry, making another cup of coffee.
Well, yeah, I think companies need to exercise their rights of freedom of association and treat people really just in kind. Like, if you're going to disparage me, then I'm just going to dissociate from you. We have that right. Nobody. So yeah, like I put the little disclaimer out there. Like, yeah, there are actually limits on what we're going to put on merch, because I don't owe you a platform. And if what you put up there is actually despicable, we're not going to put it up there. But everybody who knows us knows that we're pretty wide on what we're going to allow. Hey, Booze.
Yeah. Only trans I want to see masturbating is Forest Mommy. Here we go. Wannabe member of drag group at Center for LA Dodgers drama caught masturbating at California park. Let's see. Clinton, Monroe, Ellis, Gilmore. It's always the 4 named people that do the weirdest shit. 53, allegedly made no attempts to hide the perverted act around 6:45, August 12th. According to numerous witnesses, Gilmore had been at the location for approximately 1 hour, sitting in his truck with the door open, spanking the monkey. I don't know why they put this detail. There was still an hour of sunlight left when he was cuffed at the beachside park. Like,
Trying to be dramatic.
yeah, it was. It was charged with indecent exposure. Mr. Anything fetch up to 6 months prison time, $1,000 fine. Guarantee this guy will never go to jail.
LA. They'll throw him a parade.
Let's see. Well, it says here he's not a full-fledged member of the group, but participated in a plethora of the chapter events while he was in the process of joining Sisterhood.
In other words,
Oh.
he's been to an orgy or two.
Yeah. It's the opposite of becoming an actual nun when you're in training, to where we're sorry, Sister Gilmore, you haven't masturbated in public enough. You really got to get your balls out there and let the kids see before we believe your commitment to our Lord and Savior, Butthole Jesus.
I'm about to launch a new Inquisition.
Oh my god.
Lord, give me patience. Okay.
Well, you got this going on, and then you've got people just quoting the Bible getting arrested in America.
Yeah. Just reading the Bible
That was it.
to people.
They weren't trespassing. They weren't inciting violence. They weren't getting in anyone's faces. Just reading the Bible. Protesting, as they have equal protection too.
I want to see those cops sued.
Yeah.
Cops who do that.
I mean, that's the thing, man. And I've been saying that on the channel for a while, is these cops, they are becoming more and more dissociated with the communities they serve. They don't care as long as the black and white ink says they can do it, because it ensures that their job and pats on the head.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, they're getting pats on the head from people who don't give a shit and don't have to worry about being treated fairly under those same laws. And that is part of why there's such a disdain for police now. And I 100% blame it on politicians, because there are small community neighborhoods where the cops, they get along fine. But when you start pushing quotas and start making them nitpick every little thing to get people into the courthouse to have to pay fines, yeah, you're going to cause problems between the community and the law enforcement. And the people who create those laws and force them to act in that nitpicking, we don't care, this is what it says, there's no room for any kind of interpretation. The ire should be directed at those people. But
there is a growing movement of cops that are rebelling against this culture, though, too. And that has brought me some, what's the right word? Joy to see. Like there's a growing group of just what they call themselves 2A cops, and they're just they're committed to not enforcing any gun laws, because all gun laws are infringements, and working to spread the word and convince other cops. It's like, you don't have to obey them. Once enough of you, because they are nothing without you. That's what you got to know. It's like, you're the ones with the power. You're the ones with the guns. But they think, but for some reason in their heads, they got to upside down. I mean, maybe it's part of training and just being in the culture long enough, you just kind of get brainwashed into it. But
Oh yeah, that thin blue
the
line.
sooner that they realize that they're the ones with the power, the bet. Oh,
Well, it's just like the citizenry.
hmm
The citizenry holds absolute power over the politicians, and they're just too lazy to do anything about it. It's like I was talking to somebody who's a truck driver. People underestimate the power that truck drivers have.
truck drivers have some of them. They well, we saw it in Canada with the Freedom Convoy.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely have a ton of power if they organize. Organization is what makes it happen. Like one trucker not doing something, maybe not. You gotta convince others. You know, and I mean you still need to step out there because you got to lead by example.
Yep. And
but yeah, don't just like think that sitting at home and not making your delivery is somehow going to get an impact. You got to get the word to travel so that people know that this is a thing, and then get people jumping on board with it. As soon as you get like a couple people following you, then it starts to become a movement, and then more start to flow.
The one positive of a full-blown trucker strike would be traffic would be a lot lighter. It'd be a lot easier. Just saying.
I'd love to see a huge trucker convoy in DC.
Yeah, I would too.
I say that, but then
there needs to be like a full-blown, non-corrupted national trucker union, and that would be the biggest flex against the government. Period. You get every single trucker, like 70 to 80% of them, in a union that's tied more to the rights of the people. They could change politics overnight. Hey, what's up, Welsh?
Hey, Welsh.
But I think the police state and Big Brother is so strong now that when you start getting these people or groups that start gaining traction and start making those connections and the networks and actually get people behind them, for something happens that they either disappear, they lose funding, they get arrested for something. It's always something that keeps the actual people who can make serious changes from getting to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I 100% believe it's corruption from the government and people who don't want to lose the grip they have around the jugular of America. And here's an interesting story for in relation to the good old Big Brother police state and how cops are becoming trash. So, look at the title. She's making porn. Cops tell dad his 11-year-old could be charged for sending lewd pics to an adult. And this will absolutely infuriate you.
Happened.
Hi. Yeah, she's in bed now.
So, okay, here's the background of the story. This guy calls the local police because he found out his daughter was sending lewd pictures to an adult who was manipulating her into doing it. This kid's 11 years old. And he wanted to call and say, hey, can you let her know like how serious this is, how dangerous it is, and how she could really get hurt or something like that. And this is their response. Now, they called at 6. They didn't get there till midnight.
Well, it so happened though, right?
Yeah. I just the whole point. I just wanted you guys to come over and talk to her. I mean, I just want her to realize what this was. I mean, in reality, it's not much you guys probably can do about it, is it?
I mean, she could probably get charged with child porn.
Who, she can? She's 11 years old.
She's creating it. right?
She's 11 years old.
Doesn't matter. She's still making porn.
No, she's not. She's being manipulated by a grown-ass adult on the
Is she
internet.
taking pictures now?
You guys have a nice evening.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. Are you serious?
Dumb bitch.
That interaction.
I want to know who that cop is.
Oh yeah,
That needs to be put on blast. What the hell is wrong with some of you people?
Apparently, I found out from the story too because Jimmy and them covered it. Apparently, in North Carolina, there was a similar case, and the DA held the charges up for a year before a judge finally dismissed it. And the only reason it got dismissed is because it got to the news and became a really public story. Let's see.
Now, I know Spike Cohen got wind of that particular story as well, so I'm hoping that his You Are the Power group is going to do more with that. Because, yeah, that cop needs to be fired. She shouldn't be a cop. And her partner.
Yeah. I can't find it. I'm going to have to dig into that one. And I mean, but what's crazy about it though is this is absolutely it's what I was talking about earlier. It's the shortest path to get charges and fines put against someone. Because I guarantee the thinking is, well, it's going to be extremely difficult to find the guy who's requesting this and get him charged, and it's going to be a lot of paperwork. It's going to be a huge investigation. It's going to cost us a lot of money. Why don't we just charge the kid? I guarantee that's what it was. Because then they didn't have to jump through a bunch of hoops. They didn't have to actually do their job. They didn't have to investigate anything. They could just half-ass it and say, well, it's her fault. When I'm almost certain every state has exploitation of a minor as one of their laws.
Yeah.
There's not a, well, if your child sends pictures to an adult, they're the ones who should get in trouble for it. Like, come the fuck on.
There's not a reasonable person in this world that believes that.
No.
Anybody with a reasonable mind knows you don't charge the kid. You go find the adult and you put him where he belongs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That right there. 100%. Unless the system has an agenda against you in which you will lose they'll try to take away all of your belongings and monetary income for allegations that they wanted to find. Two-tier justice, man. It's big.
It's just two-tiered. No justice.
I mean, women.
Was the partner male or female?
Male. The partner was male, and I think he was just going to sit on the side and be like, nah, I'm not going to get involved with this. And he let that lady stick her foot so far in her fucking throat she could shit it out. And I don't understand it either. You figure, I guarantee that female cop doesn't have kids.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way.
So this is where I'm going to caveat, Willie. So don't ever call the talk to the cops without an attorney. Okay, I do think that there is, as much as I hate the system, it is our system for finding justice. Unless you're going to go vigilante on somebody, But there needs to be a report so that, I mean, if there's a chance at finding the guy, perhaps there could be justice there. But definitely still have the lawyer present. Doesn't matter if you're the victim.
One thing I would say too about a home defense instance, absolutely stay on the phone with the responding police officers until they get there so they don't fucking shoot you.
Yes, because they will
Because
get trigger happy.
yes, they'll get dude, these cops, most of them are going to be super nervous and they're just going to see a gun and fire. So that's the one instance I would say where you need to remain in solid contact. I mean, you should anyway, but once they get there and everything, that's when you just need to be quiet.
Yep. You just say, I don't answer questions without my lawyer. And you just keep repeating that until they stop asking you questions. Or like there was that one video that I saw with this one old man who he started getting snarky with just like, do I answer questions? We've been over this.
Yeah.
Because he
Well,
got tired of repeating himself.
There's a guy in Vegas. He's a constitutional lawyer, and it's scummy what he does because he goes around and intentionally tries to provoke so he can sue the county. But he's also right. Like the cops cannot give you lawful orders if you haven't broken the law.
Mm-hmm.
Like videotaping stuff, them asking to inspect your belongings, anything like that. If you haven't broken the law, you do not have to comply with those orders. Like if you're walking on a sidewalk and a cop comes up and starts asking you questions, you don't have to answer them at all.
But I mean, use your discernment. Obviously, he is there with a gun. If you just got to kind of judge what kind of antsy is this guy before you decide to have an interaction. Because the other thing is when you don't refuse to engage with them, it pisses them off. So do take care. Like I don't want y'all to get in an unnecessary firefight.
Yeah, just don't just say I'm not talking to you. Just state what you're doing. Like I'm walking down a public sidewalk.
No, don't even do that.
No.
No. Just say you just tell them I don't answer questions without a lawyer. Are you detaining me? You can ask them questions to kind of get clarification if they're going to hold you there. You know.
And if they say they are,
like I'm not answering questions. Like if they're trying to detain you, you know, you gotta. But yeah, you just gotta be careful because you don't want to trigger them to violence, but at the same time, you gotta stand up for yourself.
Yeah, the big thing if they are trying to detain you is ask them why they are detaining you.
Yeah.
Because you have to have broken the law or committed a crime for them to be able to detain and question you. They can't just detain you because you're walking down the street and you don't want to answer their questions. It's not legal. I mean, I could absolutely see where in another 10 years or so that might all change, but I think we'll have a bifurcation of the parties and cultural groups, and something else will happen before then.
Yeah, we've still got years ahead of us of this downturn. Culturally, economically, the worst hasn't hit yet.
No.
I'm seeing more and more signs. There's an account on Twitter that I follow called Unusual Wells or Usual Wells. I forget what it's called. They post a lot of economic data, and it's the housing market is not looking healthy. Looks like it's finally starting to.
Food. Food is getting fucking ridiculous. And a big thing, if anybody is out there struggling for food, the cheapest thing you can do to save money is learn how to cook.
Yes.
And stop, don't buy the prepackaged stuff. Mainly what you need is protein, fats, and maybe some vitamins and minerals. So you can get a pack of chicken drums for a couple dollars. And if you need like fruit you can generally find somewhat affordably. Bananas are really cheap. And then I don't know. Me, I mostly eat meat. It's meat and drink water. can get bottles of water for $5 a pack, like 24 of the 16-ounce bottles. So you just got to be smart, and you actually got to do the things that will save you money in the long run. Yeah, like it sucks, but beef is just stupid ridiculous right now. Even the crappy ground up 75-25 or 73-27, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, learn how to cook. That'll help with food costs, but that only lasts for so long too. Especially if you got kids that are just wiping out your pantry and refrigerator in a couple days. Because they do that very quickly. Oh man. Let's see. What was there anything? We already covered the YouTube thing. I'd say, guys, it's going to pretty much just chill stream today.
Oh, I do have an update on something. It's something we talked about last week.
Oh yeah.
That
okay.
17-year-old did get charged as an adult.
Really?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Didn't expect it, but definitely take it. I don't care that it took pressuring them. I'm sure there had to be some pressure. If it was just a normal, just an app, a random white guy that had nothing to do with the police, then they probably would have just not even tried to catch the kid,
Yeah.
But that's the one time where the fact that they look after their own to the detriment of the populace actually worked out in favor of justice for once.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit too blatant.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm checking my bookmarks to see if there was anything else.
Well,
yeah, that's all I got.
Another one that really bothered me was David Dorn.
Yeah.
That was
I have that one in my calendar just to remember. I don't always post about it, but I try to remember to post about it sometimes. It was June 3rd, I believe, right? Of that year.
Let's see.
But yeah, I forgot to move it to my new calendar, so I missed it this year. I don't remember the exact date.
June 2nd.
June 2nd. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I add that in for next year. Just a reminder.
Oh, what's this? Man sentenced to life in prison in death of David Dorn. This is
really?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So let's check this out.
Yeah.
Because why haven't we heard of this? Why has this not been put out there? The man who shot and killed a retired police captain who was trying to protect a pawn shop from looters spend the rest of his life in prison. A jury found Stephen Cannon, 26, guilty of first-degree murder in July. Judge Teresa Counts Burke sentenced him Wednesday to a life in prison without parole. That's good. That's a good thing. But what about all the other people? What about the pipe bombs at January 6th? The person who put those out. The Coke in the White House. Most secure building in the world.
You're asking for too much, Cam. Way too much.
Yeah. 9/11.
You're asking for basic human decency. That is way too much.
Well, I'm asking the state to expose itself too, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why won't the state investigate the Epstein client list? Because they're all on it.
A lot of them, absolutely, without a doubt. But Russell Brand loses everything over allegations that they went and searched for and probably paid for. I think that it wasn't a distraction. I think it was to add to the severity of the narrative they were trying to portray of January 6th.
No, I think it was planted as far as I'm concerned. I think it was entirely Fed orchestrated. I mean, it might have been like one of their assets or whatever, kind of like with the Whitmer kidnapping hoax. A few of them got acquitted, but I think 3 of them have been acquitted, but I think there's 5 that are in jail. It's just kind of weird. They should all be free.
Yeah, well, and again, how many FBI informants or sources were within the crowd that day? What about the people?
They lost count. They lost count. Is the last thing I heard about that.
Well,
no, I believe we've heard upwards of 40. Like they're sure there was at least 40.
And there's video of the Antifa guys changing into Trump gear.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with that? Why are there still people who are in solitary confinement 2 years later, 3 years later, that didn't do anything but walk in the building?
Do you think Antifa knows they're being psyoped? And they're just kind of going along with it? Or do you think that they're
I think the upper level organizers do, because they're probably in contact or relation with the DNC or RNC operatives who are running that, or CIA. Name your fucking 3-letter place.
DHS, FBI, who knows, DOJ, who knows who's actually hidden. And that's actually one of the things that they use to kind of pretend like they're telling the truth, being factual. Like they'll say, oh, it was actually a DHS, they were DHS was or informants, not FBI assets, and it's like, y'all are the same. I don't care what 3 letters you're working for. All right.
Well, to me, Antifa they're the ISIS. They're the modern day ISIS within our own country, because we funded ISIS to go and do what they did. And Antifa's definitely getting funding from somewhere. And they're not being charged, persecuted, put on terrorist watch lists or anything like that. And the thing will be, like, if they play out the scenario that the deep state gets what it wants and it has absolute control, they'll absolutely turn Antifa into a terrorist organization at that point, because they won't have any use for them anymore.
Yeah.
It's all a big fucking party and all a big psyop, and you're not invited.
I mean, I'm just asking it because it would be funny if the clueless ones started to get a clue. Like, hey, if anybody ends up watching this and you're that's operates in Antifa, you're being psyoped. Go find out who the feds are.
I just don't think that's possible. Because Antifa zealotry is very similar to the religious zealotry of ISIS.
All it takes is a little bit of cognitive dissonance to start getting somebody unbrainwashed.
Yeah.
You got to just put it out there, and once they get exposed to the idea enough times and start seeing clues, it's just like, okay, if you don't believe me, start looking more closely. Just a little, give it a shot. Like, prove me wrong. How about that?
Well, you're also assuming these people are decent people though as well.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't care if they're decent. What I care about is that they're self-interested, and that the idea of being psyoped by the feds might actually go against. For the true believers, you know what I'm saying? You can use that zealotry against an organization if you start to convince them that their leaders are in with the feds.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be like ISIS, where the feds are currently helping them serve their self-interest and their party interest. And then whenever the feds kick them out the door, they'll probably have that moment. I think it'd be a lot harder to get the diehards that are part of that
Well, I'm
right
not going
now
to try and
to.
infiltrate Antifa and push it. I'm just throwing it out there.
You mean you don't want to be publicly known like Andy No and then go to every Antifa rally ever and then quit, you know?
I'd end up I'd end up I'm not going to say what I'd end up doing. My kid.
I mean, that was, I still, I mean,
like I'm just not
get
going to
it.
put myself in that kind of situation because one, I'm never going in that kind of situation not being strapped, and I'm not about to just take being
Oh, yeah.
bullied. Okay.
Well, the thing about Andy, like, I understand what he was doing because there is freedom of press. He should not, he absolutely should not have been attacked or accosted for recording what was going on.
Yeah.
But again, he has credible threats made against him all the time, and he's still going out there, even though he's trying to disguise himself. It's still like it's a huge risk. So
I mean, there comes a point where trying to go undercover doesn't make sense. If your cover's been blown and they're looking for you, it's time to send somebody else.
yeah,
you just gotta be smart about it.
Well, he especially should have known after nothing changed, even though he was exploiting all of the harassment and stuff he was getting. The media didn't care. Other journalists didn't care because to the legacy media apparatus, he's a plague. He's cutting into their profits and causing the narrative to get spun out of control. So they don't care. They would have been happy if he would have died.
Yeah.
That would have given them cause for celebration. They would have pretended like they cared, but it would have probably led to some enactment of some journalism protection thing for them. No, dude. Damn it. That might be coming soon too. I just thought about that. They'll probably make like threats against journalists the reason to go after people. They'll investigate that for sure, especially the ones that are spinning the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Just hours ago, the man who shot and
what
killed
the hell?
retired St. Louis police captain David Dorn learned he will spend the rest of his
All right, let's close that. Yeah. I don't know, I mean, things are changing slowly. The tide is shifting, but I think we're going to see more separation before we see unity. So
I don't know that we ever get a place of unity yet, but I do think we get to a place of I guess the word's balkanization.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's gonna. I've always thought that since we started. It's
yeah.
I think there's going to be the split between the cultural parties and the political parties, and part of us it'll be like North and South United States or something. I did not hear that. Well, I think they started that a while back, didn't they?
I thought Project Veritas just closed up shop.
Yeah, Veritas absolutely. They're shutting down operations.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah, I think that lawsuit probably was a while ago.
Let's see.
New suit?
Oh yeah, it was May 31st. Let's see.
Lily's saying that James O'Keefe gave an announcement yesterday. I'm gonna go search his Twitter.
Well, the one from May was claiming that he broke a non-disparagement clause. And they claimed he was the founder remained an employee until barely 2 weeks ago. And that was May 31st. So let's see.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay. See what we got.
Hello, everyone. James O'Keefe here. So there was a loud banging on the front door, loud banging. My colleague happened to be nearby and took a video of the door. You can see there a man, he was pounding on this door. My colleague didn't know what it was or who it was. So I'm going to go ahead and now that I'm back, go to the front door and see what is going on. Here we go. I'm going to open the door. Okay. Oh, look, there's a stack of documents if you just want to get this shot here on the bottom. It looks like there's a stack of documents here. United States District Court, Project Veritas versus James O'Keefe. Summons in civil action. A lawsuit has been filed against you. So this is apparently a federal lawsuit that they left on the doorstop there. Of a lawsuit of Project Veritas against me. So I guess Project Veritas is attempted to serve a lawsuit against me on this day, September 21st at approximately, I don't know when it was, earlier today. A lawsuit. They're suing me. The company that I founded, when I left, there was something to the effect of between $6 and $8 million cash on hand. They've apparently spent all of it, raising almost no money at all since they ousted me. As my attorney said, Jeff Lichtman said, it'd be great to know what they spent all that money on and what they hope to accomplish by asking a federal judge to shut me and shut all of you down. You must be wondering, what are the names of the lawyers who did this, who wrote this lawsuit? Their names are J.M. Woolman and Rendaza Legal Group. Rendaza Legal Group is the name of the lawyer who is participating in this lawsuit. We're not sure what these attorneys have to say for themselves, participating in an effort to silence journalists and get a federal judge to issue an injunction to shut me up and shut all of you down. It's unclear what Mark Rendaza and J.M. Woolman are thinking.
What's it for, though? That's what I want to know. Like, what is the...
Yeah.
What is the...
I'm sure the more details will come out later.
Yeah, let's see.
But yeah, I'm just wondering, like, where are they getting the money to pay for the lawyers for this? They just have just enough left over for a small retainer?
Well, that's what I'm wondering too. Like, was anybody on the board? Did they have relations with these law firms that keep filing these charges, and was it a way to launder money through them? Let's see. Yeah, he's just not talking about it yet. He's probably been advised not to talk about it until something comes out of it.
But we know James O'Keefe. He loves to put that out there because he knows that that's like the best disinfectant is just sunlight. Just put it all out there.
Yeah.
All this secrecy, nobody needs that BS. Just
it'll probably, I'd say next week he'll go ahead and talk about it, because just talking about what the case entails is not any kind of legal violation unless there's some kind of magistrate's order or judge's order to not discuss the issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, usually the lawyers, the motive behind that is just so you don't incriminate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, accidentally. Like your public statements can get used against you, even though he didn't get ultimately convicted of it, and I still think he should have. You know, but that happened with Alec Baldwin.
That sack of shit. Sorry. Single action gun and you shoot someone, it's your fault.
Period.
Period. There's no way that accidentally happened. Especially considering he didn't drop the gun or nothing hit it or anything like that. It was in his hand the whole time.
Also, a lot of people were trying to let him off the hook because he said like, oh, if their procedure was to have the that one girl check it, then it's her responsibility. It's like, no, that's not what the guidelines say. Lauren Southern actually did a good video on this a long time ago where she went through the SAG rules on it. And it's like, it's what you would expect. When you get a gun handed to you, you check the chamber. So it's just like he wasn't the only one at fault. There were 3 checks that also missed that there was a bullet in this chamber. Because it passed through it was supposed to pass through 3 other hands before it got to him. That included that girl, the arms woman. The grip who's the camera guy because he's potentially at risk. And then the assistant director or whatever was also listed on that, I believe. So it was supposed to go through 3 checks before it got to him, and then he's supposed to check it. And it's just,
well,
they're all at fault. But him, I mean, obviously him most of all, because he's the one who actually pulled the trigger.
Well, that was something that was weird too. Like, why didn't it go directly from the prop master to Baldwin? It should have just went from the prop master to Baldwin, not the prop master, the AD, and then the Baldwin. Because
the grip gets the right to check it because he's in the shot. The camera guy has a risk. It's kind of like lockout tagout, man. Everybody that's involved. I don't think it makes a difference to me. That's just an extra check. I don't mind having the extra check. I don't think that saves anything by having it go from the prop master to Baldwin. But I mean, my main point is it doesn't absolve him of responsibility. The fact that you could put 50 people in front of him to check it, and they could all miss it. He is still ultimately responsible for it being the last in line.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely the main at fault party. And I'm sorry, but he had motivation.
Yeah, and I think on that day, it actually didn't go through the AD's hands on that day, if I remember correctly. I think they actually skipped that particular check. It was either him or the grip. I forget.
No, I'm almost certain it went from the master to the AD to Baldwin.
There was somebody that where it wasn't checked. Actually, no, it was the arms bearer. I think the AD took the gun directly.
Yeah. He took it from Helena, or not Helena Hutchinson, but whoever the master at arms was. Let's see. And what drives me insane is the lady, the firearms safety person, got charged, but nothing went against Baldwin.
Yeah. It doesn't make a lick worth of sense.
No. So what they're saying is she's at fault, but if other people check the gun, that incorporates either someone was wrong, or no one had the proper training, or someone intentionally lied about the weapon being clear.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's see. It all handled. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull the trigger at them. Never. Except for when I did.
Yeah, you did. Well, if you remember, he tried to argue that it went off.
Amid the
before.
year-long investigation in the fatal shooting, an FBI forensic report found that the gun could not have been fired without pulling the trigger.
Yep.
It's like, ugh. Yeah, so she, it says Assistant Director Dave Halls, the person who reportedly handed Baldwin the gun moments before the incident, he took a plea deal. So yeah, it was Armor, then Assistant Director, and then Baldwin.
Okay, so the one that got missed was the grip, because the grip is supposed to get a check as well.
Well, apparently there's not a guideline for firearm safety. It's more of an industry thing.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's a SAG guideline, so you technically you'd have to adopt that, right? Like, that's not binding.
Let's see.
I mean, personally, I just think that like a lack of checking the chamber shows a reckless disregard for human life. If you don't have the wherewithal to check the chamber or not point it at somebody, both those things. Like, what's the first thing you learn in gun safety? You don't point the gun at anything you don't intend to shoot.
It just
Why people at the gun range will lose their minds if you turn around and your gun's not facing towards the range.
Oh yeah. Flagging is like, that's one thing that pisses me off the most. Like, in the SAG guidelines, it just says the property master and/or weapons handler must meet with cast and crew and inform them of the safety precautions in effect and answer any questions.
I'll have to look
anything.
up that video. Lauren Southern had documents that reflects what I'm saying, and I don't. Maybe I'm wrong about where they came from.
It says check. It says there's other safety bulletins, so it might have been detailed in those. But the initial guidelines for it just say that the weapon master or property master is responsible for the safety of the weapon and ensuring its functionality. So yeah, I mean, there's probably a big fucking rabbit hole if you go down on that shit.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, it's almost 9. What do you want to do?
I want to print T-shirts, man. I want to get the machine.
Oh, God, yes. Jesus. And the thing that drives me crazy, we've got the presses, we've got the one for the mugs and everything, and we still can't do anything with it yet.
Right. Just
like
we're missing the key piece.
Yeah, we're missing the one thing, and I'm gonna be working on a little promo commercial. I'm gonna be using Dave's clip from the after show and then our customer Rachel, and some stuff from Crash. And really, it's just it's a hurry up and wait game now. So
Yeah.
that's all we're really waiting on. Yep. But yeah, guys. Like I said, like the biggest thing right now is sharing. Me and Crash have been chatting a little about maybe doing Rumble exclusive because of what YouTube is doing. I mean, honestly, it's so hard to get promoted in the YouTube algorithm anyway. It's ridiculous, especially if you're, because Elon Musk proved that the social media companies are flagging people's accounts. So I guarantee there's some kind of tag on our channel that prevents any kind of algorithm promotion. And with the way the strikes have been automated too, it's not. If you think that they're not flagging your channel because of something you said because a robot picked up a key phrase or something, then you're sipping the Kool-Aid. It's absolutely happening, and YouTube is by far the worst for it. And obviously, they're the most establishment tyranny friendly. So, yeah, we might do some Rumble exclusive before long, after we get established a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because the Rumble is already so much higher than the YouTube stuff. And I think a lot of it's because we don't hold back on what we're thinking. I know, like, Front Porch is doing really well. He's pretty tempered though, and he doesn't go on the tirades that me and Crash do sometimes.
Yeah.
So he,
I can't help it.
yeah,
Government just pisses me off.
Brian's a good dude there. Everybody should go check
Yeah.
him out too. He was absolutely born to be a commentator. Yeah, we dual stream
Yeah, we are ready.
every time. Yeah.
Yeah, Rumble's up.
hmm
But
The
maybe
only one
start putting the Rumble link above the YouTube link.
that's what I
On
did
you-
today.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that people are more likely to click it.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I did today.
Yeah, and I think actually in the future, let's just start. We can keep dual streaming for a bit, but guys, I'm gonna encourage you in the future. Let's just start doing more Rumble. And if I catch you on YouTube, I'm just gonna say, "Hey, go over to Rumble," and I'll give you the link.
Yeah, and if you guys have a YouTube channel, get it on Rumble too.
Like, I think the only reason to have any presence on YouTube is really just to catch new people, but we're not catching any new people here.
No.
So, like, if you have like a huge audience and you are getting algorithm promotion, then yeah, a person like that should dual stream, but continually push Rumble and get more people on it. I think when Rumble starts getting more variety content, which they're building it, it's getting there.
They really need to work on their interface too. The UI.
Yes, it's gotten a lot better, but it's still got a long way to go.
Yeah, it's definitely needs to switch to a grid mode.
Yes, gosh, what do they have against grids? I hate the scroll. You know what I'm talking about with it's one after the other. I don't know what that mode's called.
Maybe they're trying to avoid looking too much like YouTube.
But I feel like YouTube's got it figured out in terms of UI. Just copy it. You know.
Well, and they can make like I know Twitch, when you go to their homepage now, at the top they've got like a little Rolodex at the top where you can like switch between. So maybe that could be something.
Yeah, Kick has that. Well, Kick doesn't have the Rolodex. They just have they just have them at the top. It doesn't autoplay still.
Yeah,
but they do promote a few streamers every day.
And one thing that I need to work on is doing some shorts and some clips.
And I need to work on getting Kick up. I've been saying that for way too long.
Yeah, I need to figure out the streaming with Kick, because there's something there. I mean, probably wouldn't take that long to figure out. I just need to.
Yeah, probably not.
do
If
it.
we just sat down and did it, maybe we just need to do it together so that we can talk through it and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all right. It's all right, Rob. One of my balls is bigger than the other two, so it's all good. Yeah, and it's also the OS, the off scrotum. Oh. Well, yeah, guys. Thanks for swinging by, and hope everybody had some fun. Leave some comments. Definitely share. Let us know what you guys are thinking. If anything's catching your eyes, I think we do all right, staying with the topical stuff. But we need to, once we get everything rolling too, like making some different content will be fun. Like when you come up, I think it'll definitely be different.
Mhm.
We'll have some different things going on, so that'll be fun. Maybe we can get that rolling. But you guys know where you can find me. It's Flagrant Triggers everywhere. Just the hard R only on Twitter, so it's just Trigger, not Triggers. Crash, where
I want to
people find
create
you?
a parody account of you. Call it Flagrant Trigger.
We should do that.
You
That's
should do
actually not a bad
that.
idea. Can be our the urban counterpart.
I love it. I love it. Okay, that's got to be a thing. Anyway, find me Crash Mondo JR wherever it's relevant. Follow me on Kick. Maybe I'll get it up one day. That's what he said.
That's what I say every time, but my God, some of these women just it's better just to put on a sleep mask and feel your way around with the ones I'm bringing home. So hey, yeah, okay, it's not my proudest moments. Okay, guys, give me a break. No, actually, you know what, guys? I've been fairly celibate the past while.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't be a man whore.
Yeah. Hey,
There we
Rob,
go. Fragrant Trigger. Yeah, I like this. It's got to be Fragrant Trigger.
we're not trying to be Asian urban though. Jeez.
Fragrant Trigger. Yeah, make him Asian. Go ahead.
Come on now. Yeah, like I don't know. I'd rather be celibate than wasting time with people who don't matter. So, yeah, I know that
That's
goes
the way
against
to be.
the red pill community. Like I've had enough sex with enough women. Like it hasn't helped me anymore. It's not that difficult to learn anatomy and where all the fun spots are for women. So, you know, it's just like anything else. And if you're a guy, more than likely you can learn it pretty easy. Yes, hands-on helps. It doesn't take 75,000 different iterations of it though. Box is a box. Unless there's something really weird that happened. So anyway. Well, and you gotta watch out for the boxes that squirt, so
Oh my gosh.
those can be surprising but fun.
Be celibate, people. It's better for you.
Oh, all right, guys.
Don't
Everybody have a
fornicate.
good weekend.
Sin.
Do what?
I said fornication's a sin anyway.
Well, not it. Yeah, whatever. Maybe. Hey, we're all sinners, though.
Didn't claim not to be.
All right, everybody have a good weekend. Take it easy. Have fun. Go out, go get some air, some sunlight. Try to improve yourself a little bit each day, and
Yeah.
be free. Be free.
Go hang
That's
out with
what-
real people. Get off the
Yeah.
internet. We got to lead by example.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll catch y'all next week. Same flagrant time, same flagrant channel. So.